What's up, guys? It's James here from Smok-King UK, where we review, communicate, and educate all things cigars. Today, I'm joined by a good mate of mine, Des from the Cigar Cabin, and we're smoking the Smok-King Toro. Run the intro. So, Des, this is the first time you're smoking this cigar, right?
Yes. Initial viewing on this, the band stands out for me. I am patriotic, as anyone that knows me knows, and I love the band. Black and gold, you can't go wrong, can you? Anything like that. Not sure about the cutter, James. We need to work on that, but I'll not quiver too much. But I'm going to give this a nice little straight cut, and there it is. I normally like the cutters that have the backboard to it and you can kind of cut straight into it and the ash don't go everywhere. But so this is my first time smoking.
It's quite a light blend, so you can. I don't want to give too much away, so it won't carry a huge amount of spice. I recommend this blend a lot to beginner smokers or for people who want something. It's a great start of the day.
It looks that way.
When you know you've just woken up, maybe having a coffee in the morning in the garden or something like that. You don't want your palate smashed to pieces with a Maduro or something like that. It's a perfect blend for the first thing of the day. And the feedback we've had from it,
well, straight away,
is incredible.
That draw is lovely. Nice smoke output, very clean on the draw. That's nice. That's nice. A bit of pepper straight away. Don't know whether you got the straight hit of pepper, but
It's like a white pepper, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. A very light pepper. Well, it's nice to be here, man. I'm so excited to actually come down to Smok-King and just see where you're working.
I've been dying to get you up here for a couple of months. Obviously, I've just passed my 6 months being here now.
Is it 6
At
months?
the point of posting this,
I'm not sure how long it'd been.
Yeah, exactly. It was 6 months last Thursday.
Wow.
So literally, we're slap bang on 6 months.
They're gonna take you on full time now.
Yeah, completely. That I'm like a stray cat. They fed me. You feed me once, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm stuck here now. You're never getting rid of me. You know, I get free cigars. I can't complain. I literally have the best job in the world.
I've got my coffee here, so I'm gonna hide where it's from. But this is just a straight black coffee, and I think these are kind of cigars you can smoke any time of the day, aren't they?
Literally, whether it's first thing in the morning, afternoon, if you're after dinner. And for anyone who watches the Smok-King channel, you know, I don't think I've posted a video to date where I haven't paired it with a coffee. Even when I went out into a nature reserve, I managed to find a coffee shop in the middle of a nature reserve.
Well, I always take, if I'm going out anywhere and I'm not sure, I'm taking a little hip flask. I make sure Zoe drives and I'm putting whiskey in it. So I've always got a cigar. That's the first thing in the car, and I'll take a whiskey with me because you never know. You never know if you're going to be able to get a coffee, and a whiskey is the next best thing in my opinion. And I see you got some rums as well here. I'm talking about whiskey, but they got their own rums, which I've tried. Great, to be fair. Lovely finish on them. Real nice rum.
So obviously, it's the first time you've ever been here. What was your first experience? Obviously, I know I've been bigging it up to you for months, like the size of it, the humidors. Did it live up to was it what you thought it was going to be?
When I got here, I was kind of not expecting it to be in this kind of a state, to be honest.
Yeah.
When we pulled up, the buildings are lovely. They're proper old mill buildings, aren't they? They look incredible.
1800 mills, yeah.
I think when you see the Smok-King banner and anything with cigars outside, then I'm in.
I've got the big gazebo as well.
Yeah, the gazebo is out, which we're sitting under now. So if it rained, we don't care. But I think just walking through the door was an experience because like the friendly people here, the atmosphere is great. Everyone just wants to like come and say hello, and I think that says a lot for anywhere where you go. I've been to places, don't get me wrong, and when you walk through the door, it's a bit mixed, and you can understand why people.
There's a certain stereotype that expected,
especially for myself. I've got a beard, tattoos, and it's can't. You think people are working you out, thinking, "What's this guy all about?" But here,
spend good
no
money?
one cared, and it was great to walk in and just be introduced to everybody. Paul is great. He's the owner. He's just
shout out, Paul.
Yeah, he was our driver here.
Well, that's our motto, and that's our thing. We don't judge anyone. We all have this one common interest. We all have this one common love. It doesn't matter whether you spend £5 on a cigar or you spend £500 on a cigar. To us, you're all part of the family. As soon as you walk through those doors, you make a purchase with us. Even if you don't make a purchase with us, you're a Smok-King family. You're officially part of the Smok-King family.
Yeah, just to be told to come up here and spend an afternoon with yourself and have some cigars, and that's what it's all about. It is a family.
Exactly. And our motto is anyone can smoke cigars. And I know what you mean. I've walked into certain tobacconists before, and they're eyeing you out and looking you up and down if you're not wearing a suit or if you're not spending huge amounts of money. Where here we couldn't care less if you spend £4 or you spend 500.
That's what I did when I started my YouTube channel, and it wasn't. I was trying to show that cigars aren't just for people that are suited, booted, have got a lot of money. It's open to everybody. Everybody can smoke a cigar. Everyone can get a cigar. Everyone can learn how to cut a cigar, because there's a whole experience into it when you start picking the cigar, cutting, lighting, how to light it, how you like to cut it.
It's a ritual.
It's amazing. I needed to do it myself to involve other people, get other people involved, and I think I've done a good job of it.
Absolutely. I think pretty much when I brought it up to the guys here and I said, "Oh, let's get Des from Cigar Cabin," everybody knew of your page. There's quite a few people. It's hard to find tobacconists in the UK that haven't heard of your channel, and I think that's what's so amazing, that what you're doing and how long you've been doing it. You know, but funny stories that most people might not know is the whole reason I started creating content about cigars in the first place is because of your content.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if this guy with a bummy accent like me can do it, then
anyone can do it.
I can do it. It turns out we grew up in the same house and the place is crazy. But, you know, I thought if this guy's doing it, I can definitely do it.
I think that's the maddest part, is the fact that we're so, like, we were actually almost from the same estate.
Literally both Batchable boys.
We knew, I know your, is it uncle?
Father-in-law.
Father-in-law, sorry.
Father-in-law, yeah, my father-in-law very well.
And I think it's crazy that we've both got similar names of what we do, and we both have a passion for this in our hands here. And this, so far, I mean, it's burning lovely. It's earthy, it's quite mild. It's definitely a morning cigar, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
The size is great.
How are you finding the construction as well? Like, bear in mind, these only retail around between 14 and 16 quid.
This would definitely be your everyday morning smoke, wouldn't it? And which is what you want.
You always know it's going to be good. Like, I know you've got a much larger collection at home than I have. But sometimes you stand there and you're looking at it and you're going, what do I actually want to smoke? Do I want this? Do I want that? Sometimes there's too much options.
I'm terrible.
At least with these sat there, you know, they're good.
I'm terrible for that right now. Is if I've got one or two of the same cigar, and I've got many cigars, I won't smoke it. I'll always go from a budget cigar, a cheaper cigar, ones I have more of. So I think these would sit lovely in the humidor for that everyday morning cigar. And the band is just
getting that get the gold band.
Yeah, the band is
getting rested in the humidor.
Great, and the construction's good. The seams, veins, the seams are fairly invisible. And is that a double cap?
Double cap, yeah.
Just straight cut, and it's a dodgy cutter, but it's done the job. I'll be honest.
I'm not going to live this down now.
I'll take it all back.
I'm not going to live this down. Look, twin blade, that'll do.
Yeah, you should have seen the cutter that you got out first. Terrible. I wasn't cutting any cigar with that one.
Yeah, that wouldn't have looked great on camera.
But the draw's good. It's nice and firm, which is what I like. It's got a nice smoky output to it. The smoke output's good.
What we wanted a simple cigar, yet a good one. We wanted a cigar that's not trying to be something it's not. You know, you see some of these cigars are, it's trying to infuse and trying to be blended and tasted like this. It's been kept in bourbon barrels. So we just wanted straight up, simple, great cigar. And it's one of those as well that it does pretty much pair with whatever you want to smoke. Whether you want to pair it with a Scotch, goes well. If you want a bourbon, an Irish, a rum, a coffee,
See,
because it's
people
not
gonna hate
so
me for that
complex.
because I'm not a bourbon fan. I'm more your peaty whiskies, which this would work well with. Rums, I need to get into that brand more, smoking a few more cigars with rums. So he's the man himself. Look, this is great. Absolutely fine. It's smooth. The draw's lovely.
Well, yours truly picked it. I was given 5 cigars last summer
Yes.
by the company, going through from very light claro colour to a really dark Maduro, and they were just known as A, B, C, and D.
Is that what it was?
And they were double Toros, so there was like an hour and a half every night for 5 nights. And
That's my dream. That is.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
It's a hard job.
It was last May, June, and the chap in Harrogate who brings them in, they're made in the same factory as Chinchillero.
Oh, the Chinchillero. Yeah, I've got a funny story about Chinchillero, but I will go into that at another date.
So that is blend C, middle of the road.
So did you want that for like your morning or just your everyday cigar smoker, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah, any time of the day. Yeah, whereas you've got your darker wrappers, people be like, I'm not going to smoke that in the morning, that's an evening.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, you're right, it can be smoked at any
time of the
can't
day.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, if you're looking for something to blow your head off, that is not the cigar. But then we were aiming at your average cigar man who maybe wouldn't have more than 1 a month, 2 a month, night out or
Wedding.
yeah. And
These look good on a wedding, you know. The
Yeah.
band.
they're all right, aren't they? We're about the crown, smoking. That's us, the crown.
Especially St. George's Day today as well. We are smoking on St. George's Day,
Yep.
which is
It's-
great. I tried the rum. The rum's lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the rum's nice. It's got a nice finish to it. It's nice. I'm a whiskey man myself, but the rum was nice. I
But
enjoyed it.
I'm the same. I'm more of a whiskey guy. Funny enough, you just said you don't like it. I'm a bourbon guy,
Yeah.
and that's got me drinking rum.
Yeah.
Since I tried that when I first joined, I drink rum all the time now.
The experience has been brilliant so far. Honestly, I've loved it. Coming here and just seeing how friendly everyone is as well. That's half the battle, isn't it? If you get a good team around you,
That's right.
that's half the battle. You do that. That's what you want.
Well, I've been here 6 months and I don't feel like I've worked a day.
Yeah.
I
6
love my
months.
job. Absolutely love my job, and I love working here. I've got the greatest bosses, and I'm not just saying that because he stood up.
Whoa.
Because we're filming. He stood off camera.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying that. But great bosses, great team.
And I'll back you up. I mean, I'm not, and I everyone that I met in there were friendly, courteous, and they just want to help. Yeah.
Which is why we're here.
And what you don't want is anyone that can ruin that day or that experience. And one person can do that.
One sour apple
Yeah.
ruins the bunch. That's Paul. I've got it. We will get Paul on the channel at some point because he's a character and he could just sit down with a cigar and he could just.
He does like to talk, which is great. It's what you want, isn't it?
It's what you want, and this is what people like when people come into the store and
Natural.
Paul's there, and people come in and actually ask for him because he just naturally flows. And what that man doesn't know about cigars, it isn't worth knowing.
Good. It's very earthy.
Glad you're enjoying it, yeah.
It's got a lovely finish to it. It sits on the palate nice.
So, obviously, everyone knows you for being on YouTube. Everyone knows you for being on Instagram. And for people who have followed you for a while knew it was Welcome to the Cigar Cabin, where it's whiskies, cigars. What kind of stirred you more towards doing... Because it's been a while since you've done a proper whiskey review, hasn't it? What stirred you more towards sticking with cigars?
Because I felt like my palate wasn't work for both doing a review on whiskies and cigars to give my style review on. I found it, if I was reviewing a cigar and whiskey, it was difficult to really work the pairing out, and it just took ages as well. And I wanted to concentrate more on the cigars. I decided early on, I did the cigars and whiskey, and it went quite well, but this was post-COVID. And I was getting a lot of companies speaking to me saying, can we send you some whiskey? And it was going well, and then COVID came and everything just stopped.
Yeah.
So now,
Stirred you towards
yeah.
the cigar thing.
So it's just this, with the cigars and the whiskey, I just found that after COVID, it kind of fell away a little bit with the whiskies, and a lot of people, and I just thought, well, I need to continue doing it some way, and just cigars was just right for me, to be honest. And I thought I'm gonna put all my effort into, that's it, just one item. That's when I changed.
Yeah. That makes a lot. I felt very much the same about that when I first started doing like reviews. I was doing pipes as well. And I didn't really know what I was looking out for, and I was just doing it because I thought it went hand in hand. Obviously, now we do Pipe Tobacco Tuesdays, which subscribe if you haven't, and enable your notifications. We drop that at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays. Now I felt like was the right time to bring that in, and that's when I've mainly focused on the cigar. So I had a very similar experience with.
It's hard to like. I get sent a lot of items each week, cigars, and at the time I was getting a little few bits of whiskey, and it's too much pressure. I didn't want to. I was only doing it for fun, and I didn't want it to take the fun out of like what I was doing. And
creating the content like it takes so much time as it is. I don't think people realise. A lot of people will message me like, "Oh, it's you literally get to smoke cigars all day every day." And I was like, "Yeah, it's all great. I get to smoke cigars every day," but it takes roughly, when I'm setting up the studio at home, it takes about an hour to plan the video. It takes about an hour, 2 hours to film the video. Then it takes about 8 to 10 hours to edit it. Then I've got to write. You have to do your descriptions, your YouTube. You got to do your thumbnails.
Thumbnails, everything. You picture everything. It just takes so much time, and I think.
And trying to work that outside your job as well. Like I'm quite lucky, I get to do it between the
now
9 and 5.
You're lucky, yeah. Whereas mine, I'm lucky. Fortunately, in the fact that I've got my own business, and I can do the cigar reviews in my own time. But doing both was never right for me. Plus, I don't think I had the right whiskey experience where I felt like I'd smoked enough cigars to understand cigars more.
The knowledge.
I didn't want anyone to pick me up on the whiskey, which could have been.
And you'll probably find you put more passion into that as well. I don't know about you. Like when I was doing videos of stuff I wasn't 100% sure about, I was a bit like, where talk about cigars, I can sit and just.
Like I can get a whiskey and I can taste it and I can get some notes from it. But am I a whiskey connoisseur? I don't think I am at all by any stretch of the imagination. I didn't want to be.
Just a whiskey lover.
Yeah, I just enjoy whiskey and I like it paired with a cigar. I like it neat. I like peaty whiskey. I've had some bourbon whiskies which I thought were okay, but I'm more inclined to maybe put a Coke with a bourbon whiskey when I won't put anything. I won't mix anything with a malt, single malt or anything.
I'll introduce you to Welsh whiskey when you come down to it.
I like Penderyn.
Yeah, Penderyn.
Penderyn
Yeah,
Legend. I got sent some of that when I was early on.
Good whiskey.
From Penderyn Distillery. From they sent me some, and I think I did a review in the early days with the Penderyn, but I just felt out of my depth in it, to be honest. So I just decided that cigars was the route I wanted to go. That was it.
So obviously social media is full of so many communities and niches. What do you think sets the cigar community and the cigar niche apart from things like fashion, cars or whiskies? What do you think makes the cigar community, the online cigar community, so?
I just think everyone's wants to help each other.
Yeah, not
each other. Everyone wants to go. It doesn't matter because there's so many cigars out there that there's no one brand that they can go, well, this is us, we won't touch anything. I think cigar community is so different. Everyone wants to just chat. Everyone wants to go into a lounge. It's male and female. It's old and young. And I think there's a lot more. I remember hearing on the radio the other day, there's a lot more young people coming into the cigar community now, pretty long young people smoking. Whereas young people used to smoke at weddings and they used to destroy the cigars, which I hated at one point. I remember going to a wedding and they said to me, because I did cigars, they said, can you get us some cigars? I wish I'd have just gone and got some cheap cigars than getting them at the time. I think I got like 15 Cohiba Robustos.
Wow.
But and they give me an unlimited amount of money to go and get. So I got and then I stood outside, showed them how to light it, and they literally were smoking 2 puffs of these Cohiba Robustos, which are expensive now.
Very expensive.
They were like literally just leaving them where they took a couple of draws off it. I may as well have just gone and got 15 cheap cigars and be done with it, because it was painful to watch as a cigar enthusiast. To see this happen was awful. But the community, in my opinion, male, female, even the brand owners, they're all approachable. They're all contactable. I've made some amazing friends in America now with some of the bigger brands, and even here. And like me personally, I've got 2 cigars now in America, which are going really well. And that's just from me starting a YouTube channel, and the community just took me on board, and it's been
Quite an
great.
accepting community.
Yeah, it is.
Like not a lot. Obviously, you'll always get, no matter what community, even you might get the odd one, but 9 times out of 10, we all just here to help each other.
I've come across a couple. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
I've
it's
come across a couple. Yeah.
It's all been plain sailing. There's a couple that tried to push my buttons, but I just let it go. I just either ignore it or
Have a cigar and get over it.
give them a humorous reply. That's about it. But no, I'm fine with it. It is what it is. You can't have any community where there's going to be a couple of bad apples. It is what it is.
You're gonna get it with whoever.
Well, like you say, I just pick up a cigar and push him to the back of my mind. Just enjoy it.
You've obviously been doing it for quite a few years. You've been smoking cigars for quite a few years now. Is there any specific like highlights or like experiences that you've had because of cigars that you kind of still then gone, wow, like
I think for me,
how have I like achieved this, or how have I met this person, or
I think for me, it's been my 2 cigars that have been manufactured for me. So 2 big brands have got in touch with me, and they said they want to produce a cigar with my name on it. There's the General Reggie, which is from Banff, and it's an amazing company. They've done the PCA and everything. They're huge.
fantastic cigar as well.
Yeah, and the General Reggie, it's got my dog's face on it. The blend was put together by me. To do it like across the pond and put these blends together and put faith in someone that's going to put your name to a cigar was fantastic. And the cigar, we initially went for because obviously my dog's a British Bulldog. We initially wanted a barber pole and have two light wrappers on it
To match his colours.
and to have it like a nub cigar, like a 4x60. And he sent me across these cigars, and I tried them, and they were just, you know, when you just know it wasn't for me. And I remember going back to him and going, he sent right. My favourite cigar is a Toro.
This is exactly why I've got this one.
I love a Toro, and I said it has to be a Toro. And we just went with some nice blends, and it come out perfect. And the cigar, in my opinion, I love it. It's an amazing cigar. It's a nice hour and a half.
I can vouch
and
for that.
It's my boy. It's Reggie, and I've got them for life now. Reggie's getting on now. He's 10.
Is he?
Yeah, so I'm lucky. You know, after I'm going to have one for every anniversary, and I've got that. That's probably been my biggest highlight, having the cigar after my dog, and that's forever now.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Because obviously you've said, just like when we were talking about the communities, you've befriended some of these amazing people. You've met some of these amazing people. You know, you met Carlos Fuente. but
Carlito, yeah,
Your biggest
a few times, and I
your
dropped
biggest achievement is having your dog on a.
Yeah.
I think that's like the most humble.
So a funny
thing.
story with Carlito. I met him at JJ Fox. I went with the Melissa Marifal, and obviously Jeremiah was there. He was like releasing his brand new book, and this book is £1,000. This Fuente book. It's an amazing book of his life and everything. And I remember I spoke to Jeremiah, and I shook his hand, and we had a hug and everything, because he was like watches all my stuff as well. And then I went over to Carlito, and I shook his hand, and he pulled me in. And the book was on like this dodgy stand, and the book like literally clattered to the floor. And this poor woman at JJ Fox, she was mortified. She ran over because this book just hit the floor from quite a height. And Kylie went, "Oh well, it's probably added value to it now."
At least,
Quite a nice.
at least you know he's always going to remember you.
Yeah, I wanted the world to swallow me up, because I was like, "Oh my god," because everyone looked. But
You know, yeah, but you know, if you meet him in the future again now, and you can be like, "Oh, there's no other in the Cigar Cabin. Oh yeah, I'm the one who dropped your book." He will instantly be like, "Oh yeah, man, how are you doing?"
Yeah, sometimes he messages, because obviously I did stuff with Cy Sweeney, and we used to do our live reviews on Sunday, and we used to get like quite a few people coming onto that and watching it and engaging with us, and because that's what it was. The good thing about it, you could do live reviews. You was pretty much saying what you were getting, and you were getting people just commenting all the time, and it was great because you could see the live reel and see who's on, and he always used to come on a Sunday, but the weather's been terrible here. We can't do bugger all outside in this country.
No. Obviously, as someone who's done it in the past as well, obviously I know you get sent cigars and you have people messaging you saying, "Can we give you an opinion on this one?" How do you pick? And I don't know whether you've turned people down and said, "No, I'm not interested." How do you pick the cigars and the products you want to be featured on your page? Do you have a criteria that you have, or are you literally willing to
No.
try anything,
Anything.
and give you, because you will give your brutal honest opinion, won't you?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if it is bad, you will.
I have been, anyone that reaches out to me that's a cigar brand, new, old, I'll take it. I'll be honest with you, it's a cigar, I'll take it, I'll give it a review, I'll give it my best, but I will be honest. That's the thing. I can't, and I think that's what I'm hoping that's what they like, is that I will be honest about it. I'll never go this, I don't think any cigar can be terrible. It can probably burn badly, or
There's no bad cigars.
I
There's only better.
would never like literally go, this is terrible, which I've seen, and it's painful to watch. This has been someone's, like, what they want to do. They want to bring out a brand. There was a company which reached out to me very early on called Tector Cigars. They're like in Sweden.
Right. Okay.
It's like an island off Sweden, and Tector was he was a mass murderer, a bank robber or something, and they built this cigar range around Tector, and they were amazing. And he started off with like 2 plants in Sweden, of all places, and he's now he's quite a big brand in Sweden. He's gone to like literally 3 or 4 big greenhouses full of tobacco leaf, because obviously you can't. It's not like America or Nicaragua or Dominican. You can just have them outside. It has to be all controlled. And they're an amazing cigar. Had a good story to them, and I like reviewing cigar companies that not everyone gets to see, or hear about, because
that's normally where you find your little hidden gem.
Yeah, Tector were really good. I forget his name now, and I should keep up with it. But we had a good year. And I think I did what I need to do for him, and he was appreciative of it, and brought his name to some of the sellers in the UK and America, and I think he's doing all right from it.
Well, even if you only educate one extra person who didn't know about that brand and now does, you've done a pretty decent job. That's my opinion, anyway.
There's another one called Chalice God 13. Their tobacco is grown in Spain, but it's all volcanic, and it's a volcanic leaf, and he's got Habano, Connecticut, and Maduro, and they're volcanic, and it's quite an interesting story. And and he constantly contacts me and says, I'm going to send you some more of these cigars. And Horatio, another one, just loads. It's just been great, because it's not just about all the bigger brands, it's all the I like to just, if someone wants to send me a cigar, I'm taking it all day long.
And of course, you've reviewed some accessories, you get sent a lot of accessories and stuff as well, like cutters. Would you say there's been a certain accessory that's really stood out for you? For example, for me, the Leifenes name cigar knives. I always looked at them before I received one, as that's quite an expensive cutter. Now, I couldn't be without it. There's been an accessory on the market that's stood out for you? Cigar
Medics, they reached out to me and they sent me the Baller. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's
I used it last time I was in the cabin.
That's it. It's just a great.
Yeah.
It's for anything, like obviously your bigger ring gauge, anything 54 ring gauge and up, it works perfectly on. And it literally sits on the top, and you cut it self sharpens, and it just, rather than, I like to smoke the cigar as much as I can. I want as much of this cigar as possible, and all it does, it almost scoops the middle out of the cap, and it's amazing.
It's like a scoop punch, isn't it?
It is, and it's great. I love it. It is good. Because they sent me the humidimeter as well, which is quite nice, but they need to do another one where it's a bit, they can just do one prong, because it's a double prong, and if you put it in some of your cigars, it can split.
Yeah,
that's happened. But
and obviously you use that quite a bit, don't you? I'd say most of your reviews, you'll always start off saying, let's test the humidimeter.
Yeah, because you want to make sure it's right.
So if we've got a new cigar smoker watching the channel now, how important is it to check to make sure your cigars are kept?
Sometimes for me, I can pick up a cigar. I don't know about yourself, probably can, and you can feel it straight away on the foot whether it's going to be too dry or it's all right.
Normally tell by the squeeze,
yeah. But I think with the humidimeter, it's essential. I think, because I've picked up a cigar and I thought that's all right, and I've put that in, and it's gone like to 52, 54, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to either look at my humidor.
That's going to go up like kindling.
Yeah, and or something else, or put it in a Tupperware box just for a bit, just to get it back to where it needs to be. But I think it's essential to have. good just to be able to check your cigars before you smoke them, because they're not cheap, are they? In all fairness,
No.
I mean,
Not a cheap hobby.
it's not a cheap hobby. You can get some nice, like, premium cigars for a fairly decent price, but
Especially
on
here
the
at
hobby-
Smok-King.
Yeah, there you go. There's a little plug for you. Get yourself down to Smok-King.
You heard it here
Whereabouts
first.
is this place then in Leeds?
We're in Utley, just
Utley.
outside Leeds. Utley Mills. And I'll leave the
So that's what it
directions
is then. So these are old mills, are they?
with- Oh, yeah, built in the 1800s, these are. The old
But
ones.
these are like
It's-
in Redditch,
A
you've
lot
got
of
Woodsley
history.
Abbey, like the needle mills, very similar. In
Mhm.
style. So this is
and you've got the old chimney over
I
there
can
as well.
see it in the backdrop. It's lovely. That is, I like it.
You know, we've got the river to the right. You got all the hills to your left. You are surrounded by a lot of...
We've got a guy
Yeah,
over here having a
views.
smoke. What are you smoking there? Nice.
So if you haven't picked that up, that's a Placencia Alma Fuente. How's it going? You're officially featured on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, you're on.
You're
You're
on.
on.
You'll be on in about 2 weeks.
Someone said to
Kind of
me the
thing.
other day about, obviously did this law that's if you're born after 2009, you
2009.
cannot buy tobacco. So imagine, like, if you're 44 years old and you go into a tobacco shop and your mate was born after 2009 and he's 43, for example.
Can't buy a cigar.
How's that gonna? He's gonna be refused to be able to buy a cigar.
Even
and
though he's 43.
it's probably not gonna work. I mean, I don't see it lasting. I think there's a few countries that have done it and they've. I think it's been retracted. I think. I'm hoping that'll be the case here, because they can't hold on to that, can they?
So obviously you're about halfway through, coming up to, you're coming up to
Well,
the
I'm
final
not
third.
like business end, as I say.
What's been your thoughts of it during that second third? Is it ramped up a little bit?
Yeah,
Is it stayed pretty mellow?
pretty much stayed mellow, pretty much the same all the way through.
Mm.
It's been earthy. There's been that little white pepper at the back.
Yeah.
But that's been about earthy and white pepper, a little bit of spice on it.
Yeah.
But it's been a nice draw. It's been consistent. I haven't touched this up at all. I feel there's a little bit of a
Slight bit of a...
an issue there, but I think that'll just burn out.
How long have you had the Cigar Cabin channel now? How long has that been running, like say, on your Instagram and YouTube?
Cigar Cabin has been probably about 2018 or 19. I started it.
So it's been going for quite a while. So
Yeah, it has been, and at one point I thought, do I want to continue doing it? Because it was hard. It's hard graft, you know.
I
trying
think
to
a-
put it all together.
I think anyone who's tried to grow not even specifically the cigar world, even if you're trying to grow any kind of channel, it's not easy.
no,
it is
isn't.
hard. It takes
And
a lot.
especially with YouTube putting all the stipulations on monetizing and everything else like that. Like, I know behind Kirby Allison and Davidoff, I'm the next biggest YouTube reviewer, as in, like,
Especially here in the
subscribers
UK.
and
Yeah,
everything
absolutely.
else. But I don't understand how Kirby Allison and Davidoff get their views and they get monetized. I'm sure they do, because they get a lot of. But
Because they was able to monetize before the new rules
before
came
the
in.
new, yeah, and it's
So they're still under the one was stuck under the. So we can still get the growth, we can still get the followers, but we can't monetize our actual
But
channel.
again, I'll go back to this. It wasn't about me making money or anything like that with my YouTube channel. It was about trying to get the word out there that anyone can smoke cigars. It was never about me making money or doing this and doing that. I just wanted to be a good YouTube reviewer. That was it, and I'll continue doing it for as long as I'm smoking cigars, and that's it.
So with that being said, how important or how critical do you think social media, or how big of a role does social media play in the cigar world?
Massive. I think, for example, we got, what's your name? Sorry, James. We've got a young lad here, James, smoking a cigar, and he's making me feel old. By the way, I'm 50 this year,
Well, I used to make you feel old.
and it's great to see these lads smoking cigars and taking time out. Because I don't know about you, James, but like, life is tough, even at any age, and to be able to sit back and say, I'm going to have an hour and a half smoke, and enjoy something that I can sit down and just get game of thoughts on. And I think it's great to see, and I love seeing young lads picking up a cigar and giving it a try and enjoying it and pushing it on.
And a lot of the younger generation that are finding out about stuff like this and finding out about cigars from social media, you know, I mean, whether you like him or not. Last year before, one of the biggest creators, the most Googled man on the planet, Andrew Tate, is famous for smoking cigars. And I reckon there's a lot of younger guys now getting into cigars because there are people, like, whether you like what he says or not. But he's played a huge contributing factor to getting to younger people to enjoy cigars. And
Give it a try.
it's what's great to see as well with the young people, especially people seen in here. You probably get loads of DMs. A lot of people DM me asking for help picking their first cigar. Is there's actual passion behind it as well. They're not trying to smoke a cigar just to look cool on social media. They're not smoking cigars to look cool in front of their mates. They're like, well, why should I have that cigar? What's so important about it? Like they genuinely. It's great to see a product still on the UK market that people genuinely have passion behind. How many things can you say have that?
I think for me, it is that I can switch off. I can take a breath and go, oh, I can have a cigar now. And for me, it's the whole build up to having a cigar as well. It's not necessarily, it's choosing your cigar, what you're going to have on that night, how you're going to cut it, how you're going to light it. Are you going to use a cedar spill? Are you going to use a soft flame? Are you going to use a hard flame?
Yeah.
There's so many different ways of then the experience being further pushed, and I love making that experience and people seeing that it's not just one dimensional.
Yeah.
So many different cuts. I know what your favourite cut is. Is it a straight? Is it
personally
is it
for
a
me?
deep cut?
If I'm smoking a new cigar, I'll always go straight cut. If I'm just smoking a cigar I've had before, 9 times out of 10 I'll go for a V. I do like a V cut.
I like a Via de Torpedo, but I think that's generic. I think it looks nice. My favourite cut, I'd say now at the moment, is probably a straight cut.
Yeah.
The blade has to be like really sharp. I've
Really
had a straight cut where I've cut and it's kind of it's gone halfway across and it's not cut properly, and I'm like, oh no.
That's the great thing about like the cigar knives is they are ridiculously sharp. Yeah, if it starts blunting out, you just go get a cigar sharpener. Most people have a cigar sharpener in the house.
I can't do the knife. I'm very clumsy. I'll end up cutting.
I've nearly taken my finger off.
I would
a
100%
few
cut my
times.
finger off.
Yeah,
I went to a friend's house and he had the knife, and I was all caggy-handed, and I was like, oh no, and I didn't. I mean, I'll probably have to work on it a little bit, but they're nice. That I bought the punch, the bracelet. You got the bracelet. haven't
you need
as well?
you want to get the tightening one, don't you?
Yeah,
You got the elastic
I've only
one.
got the elastic one, and I nearly lost it when I was feeding the ducks the other week. I literally had the bread in this hand and I threw it, and for some reason it just caught onto my finger, and I managed to stop it from launching into.
Because they're not cheap either. They're worth the investment because they are really sharp if you like a punch. But yeah, they're not exactly a cheap investment.
No, they don't like yours. Where you can tie it a bit better.
Oh yeah,
Whereas
you could
mine
never
would
get
be
that off my
elastic,
wrist.
and I almost lost it, and I'd have been pretty gutted if I'd have lost it because that was a gift.
Well, how about your lighting technique? Because if anybody hasn't seen Des's YouTube channel, obviously I'll leave the links in the description below. You have some questionable lighters. You've got that Drew Estate that looks like a kettle. It's like a Bunsen burner. What's your go-to lighter? Because a lot of people don't use jet flame, don't use a torch. You only use soft flame.
Prefer
only
a soft
matte
flame.
is what do you prefer?
I do like a soft flame. That's my favourite. I like the match as well. Something about when you finish that light,
More of
you
a
blow the
ritual.
match out, there's a smell that comes, and I think that's, for me, heightens the
classic
experience.
gentleman.
Yeah.
How about cedar spills? Have you tried?
I have done cedar spills. I've tried the one, because what they say is if you've got a cigar with a cedar spill on it, if you just take the sellotape off it and then push the cedar spill further away from the cigar, light the end of the cedar spill, and then you put it to your mouth and bring the cedar spill towards the foot of the cigar, it lights it.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen Cigar Prop do that.
Yeah, he did it. I did try it, and it did work, but I just like the I got sent a lot of cedar spills. I did the cedar spills, but I just prefer. I've got that little Bunsen burner, which is lovely. It's a soft flame.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's amazing.
It is
I love
good.
Yeah, and that was a great gift to get because it lasts forever as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably soft flame or a match.
Soft flames, I always get like a really uneven burn. I just don't know whether I'm clumsy with a soft flame. But single jet flame lighters.
Single jet. That's
How
I don't like the
accurate you can
triple
be with
jets
it.
and the doubles, and
I do have a double. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind. They're quite good for like the Gordos, but I'd rather sit there and spend a little bit more time with a single jet, especially if like you have to touch up. If you've got like a slight uneven burn, you can be so accurate.
So I remember
Where
with
you want that blade, which I might have to
Nick
do. With.
Perdomo, when I was sitting down having a cigar with him, and we were lighting, and he literally showed me how he does his. So he'll toast it, and then he'll go around the edge, and he'll for the wrapper he'll seal the wrapper to the binder around the edge, and that gives you a better burn all the way through. And it worked. It actually worked. So I do adopt that when I've got a single flame.
Yeah.
And then you obviously you light it, but
I'm the same.
There's many different ways of doing it, and I think just
as long as you enjoy the cigar, is there a right or wrong way? Also, I know you're quite active on social media. Do you think there's going to be any new trends in the cigar industry coming to social media? Obviously, you know, we've touched on the fact that there's younger people getting involved. Do you think we're going to start seeing a lot more cigar reviewers kind of like you coming out of the woodwork? Obviously, they've got to give them a couple of years to start appreciating and developing the palate. Do you reckon that we're going to almost hit like a cigar boom in the UK?
I don't want to, because obviously I want to keep my channel up there. But I think there will be a revival of younger cigar smokers that take it to that next level. Like, I'm quite prehistoric. James will tell you, once I know, I'm okay. I'm still learning to put the editing part of it, which James is going to show me. But
we've had a few nights, haven't we?
I think for me, it'll be amazing to see young people coming into this amazing industry and just start blowing up YouTube so YouTube can't knock it down and they can't ignore it. Kind of think having an influx of younger people coming in, male and female, because I think we're getting some amazing
we got some really
female leaf coming out now, and I think it would be amazing to see them, because they say that the female palate is a bit different to a male palate, and to some extent I think that's right, because when Zoe has a cigar, I think we need to see more female reviewers.
There's only a small handful in the UK.
I think that would be amazing, and seeing more females coming into the lounges has been amazing, and just coming here, seeing all the ladies that are working here.
Well, we're a dominant female company. There's only really 5-6 males really at Smok-King, so it's quite a heavily dominated female company.
I think the youngsters will take it to the next level. And I think we're seeing a growth in youngsters smoking cigars, and I think it can only work in cigar brands and cigar flavour. Seeing it,
we need to be knocking on YouTube door and saying, and not even just YouTube, like Meta are really clamping down on, like, we don't get half as much engagement on Instagram and Facebook as we would on TikTok or YouTube. We need to be knocking on these companies' doors and saying, no matter what you do, we're here. We're not going anywhere. No matter what you do, we are here. We mean to make a stand.
This, in my opinion, it helps, especially for me, my mental health, my persona. It makes me feel great when I'm getting ready to have a cigar. It settles me down, and I think there's a lot to be said in this cigar. That even pipes. I mean, I've got to get into pipes, but
we'll get you there.
It just drops all my endorphins. It makes me feel settled. It makes me feel like relaxed, and it's the way I finish off every day, with a nice cigar, coffee or a glass of whiskey.
Well, it was Steve Harvey who put it really well. That smoking cigar is like yoga. You simply just
and release. Absolutely. It's
like yoga.
For me, it just settles me down and makes everything in that day just feel insignificant.
And I think, obviously, talking about yoga and how good it is, because a lot of people fixate on the health hazards on your mouth and cancers and all this kind of stuff. I think people completely miss out how much it's beneficial for your mental health. Like, I know you've touched on it. For me, my mental health would be 10 times probably worse than what it has been when, if it's a bad day or something's going wrong, I know I can sit here for an hour, dedication to time, the product, and by the end of it, I'm a completely different
It
bloke.
just
I'm
makes you
calm.
think how insignificant whatever you were worried about, whatever you were stressed about on that particular moment in your day, how when you have a cigar at the end of it, it makes you think how insignificant that actual stress was. That was not needed. You kind of puts a reality into your thinking. For me, I'll always refer everything to a cigar. If I'm having a stressful day, I'll go, oh, hold on a minute, is it that bad? Is it that bad? And when I'm sat down on a cigar, it isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't everything that I've worried about and probably caused myself more damage, stressing. Having a cigar just takes that whole process, that whole thought. And this thing about people saying, oh, it's bad for you. And yeah, it's tobacco. But you're not taking it back. It's not like a cigarette. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. But this is, you never know what's around the corner, do you? At the end of the day.
I don't want to be hit by a bus tomorrow knowing I could have had a cigar with you today.
Yeah, absolutely. I've traveled on coach here today, and yeah, that experience was, yeah, a new one for me. But as you can see with this, I don't know if the camera picks it up there. I've not even touched that, but it's corrected itself, and that says to me that is a sign of a good cigar when I don't feel I have to touch it up or I have to keep messing with it. That's just, and it's smoked all the way through. So in my opinion, that just tells me it's a good cigar, because you've been there, James, where you've had a cigar and you're correcting it, you're touching it up, and you're like, oh my God, the draw's tight, the draw's, you've got,
I've had many.
yeah,
I like that.
It's plugged, and you're like, oh my, what is the end of this? But I persevere. I'll always smoke the cigar to the very end till it hurts, well, burns my fingers. But this has been absolutely fantastic. It's been a nice, easy cigar. Outside, the weather's decent. In the UK, we say this is decent.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's cloudy, but it's not bad. But I can't fault this cigar at any point. I say get yourself a pack. I think they're here.
You've heard it. I'm going to snip that down, and I'm going to put just you saying that on social media. And I think what people is like, if you're watching this and you haven't been smoking cigars for long, or you're getting into cigars brand new, it's okay to have uneven burns. You got to cater to some factors that we are sat outside. There's a bit of a breeze. It's also a handmade product. It's not going to be perfect every single time.
200 hands, they say, have touched this cigar.
Well, they say it takes 200 hands before it leaves the country. Then how many hands does it go through once it's shipped? It's over here. It's checked. You know, we check every single one of our cigars that you will buy from us. We have picked up and we have looked at and we've checked. We won't sell you that. So you're probably pushing more 250, 300, I'd say. Especially like I've been out to Nicaragua, and I've seen how many hands genuinely touch it. It's crazy. What other products can you say gets that kind of attention?
No, absolutely none. No. That retro is lovely on this, by the way. There's no pepper. It's just a lovely, earthy, just a lovely. Do you know what makes me laugh is the amount of comments I get when I'm walking around my local park and people stop me and say, I can smell it from right over there, and I love it. But the retro on this is lovely.
Very smooth.
It doesn't burn or anything. It's absolutely, it's smooth. That is the word.
We've had some really good compliments, because obviously when you come, you've been there, you've got your own cigars. When you're putting your name to a product and you first put it out there, it's nerve-wracking.
It's horrible.
It's horrible thinking,
I don't want a bad review.
And how much money and time we've invested into it. The last thing we want is people to come back to us and go, that's awful, and we've invested thousands of pounds into it. But the reviews we've had come back from it and the feedback we've had from it, you've seen it now with Des. People are loving it.
I'll be honest with you, the Moy cigar took some great feedback, but it is scary, and it must have been the same for Paul when he decided to release this. He's putting his name on it, his brand on it. It's what his palate likes.
Yeah,
and I think it's you can't fault it. But starting to, I think this is the moisture a bit at the end where it kind of flares out a little bit.
You normally get that on the final third. I don't know if you found it as well, because the berries burning the hottest.
Yeah, it's coming to the end. There's more moisture at the end.
There is more moisture on the end. So thank you guys for joining us on our YouTube channel. Thank you, Des, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for smoking the Smok-King Toro. He's had his seal of approval.
Yeah.
Finally.
Absolutely amazing.
So thank you for coming along with us on this journey. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that button and enable your notifications. We post twice a week. Make sure you go follow us on our social medias. We post daily over there, whether it's education, promos, giveaways. You're going to learn something just from following us over there. So I'll leave a link in the description below. So thank you again for coming with us.
Thank you
on
for
this
having me.
journey.
Yep.
And welcome to the new era of smoking. See you in the next video.